Good evening, this is Star Thinker, and I'm making this video for a very special purpose. Um, with the end of Forrest Fen, there's been a lot of treasure hunts bubbling up, and but Forrest Fen was a huge hunt. You're talking about millions of dollars, and that's no small change. And I think some of the hunts, I've had people call my hunt not even worth doing because the prize isn't that big, and I'm like, well, la di da. um, to some people, I guess that isn't a big prize, but if you're only looking for $1 million hunts, there's not that many out there. And in fact, the only one that I know of just ended. And, I hear there's another one coming out, but then when I see all the controversy surrounding Forrest Fenn's hunt, you got to wonder, are people willing to do this kind of thing anymore? Um, I know when Michael Stadler did his, it was it was said to be a $1 million hunt, but it was spread over 13 prizes, and one of the prizes was worth like $250,000, if I recall, or it might have been higher. But the spider, had like a 16-carat diamond on it and all this stuff, and down to the snail, which was the second lowest of all the treasures. Which was beautiful. It was gold, and it had pink diamonds on it, which are themselves a rarity. Um, so it's like each prize wasn't $1 million prize, and it was spread across 13 states. So it's like, seeing this, I know there's another hunt coming up that's claimed to be over $1 million, and are they going to look at that and think, wow, you know, is this going to be worth it? Because once it is solved, people are just going to sue you just because, and even though those suits are without merit, you're still going to have to pay a lawyer to defend yourself and all this stuff. It just is kind of discouraging, and I don't know. I was working on a hunt. I was toying with the idea because people were like, well, how come there's no hunts in the middle of the country? And I'm like, well, I was in the middle of the country. Maybe I can just do a local hunt, and put it, somewhere local, and it'd be in the middle of the country. But even then, I'm like, God, is it even worth it anymore? Um, but there is something that's come up, and I wanted to make sure everyone was aware of this. So this is an important announcement. I've made this announcement going way back in the beginning. I've said it again and again and over again, but it still comes up. And I have, well, first of all, I've had people like ask me for my email, and I won't give out my email. I have, let's see, five, six, seven, I have at least 8 or 9 email addresses. Probably more than that because I just remember all the Solomon email addresses. But I have email addresses because I reserved email addresses because I was going to do future hunts. I have email addresses because when I sign up for something and I know I'm going to get a lot of spam, I use Yahoo for that. I was like one of the first 1,000 people on Yahoo, going way back to like, I can't remember when it was, 1980 something. To give you an idea how old my Yahoo account is, my first password was 3 digits. That's how old. And I've had that ever since. And I've used that for so many things that I've almost got to keep it around, because there's things that, like my web page, it only comes up once a year, and that's under that account. And I've been slowly rolling things over to my Gmail account, which is my more official account. But yeah, I've got several, and like I said, some that I use just for spam. Some I have one account that I use only when I'm doing stuff on Craigslist. So I kind of compartmentalize my accounts, but I don't want to give any of them out. I don't want email. I really don't. The hunt is out there. It's in the book. That's pretty much it. There should be no reason to contact me whatsoever. The only reason you should contact me is if you found the token, and the token has specific contact information on it. So that's it. I just don't want to be contacted. This hunt is out there. It's live, and I don't want any personal information. Um, Another thing that's come up, since I don't give out my email address, people have been IMing me on Facebook. I've gotten at least 15, 20 people IMing me. And I've said this before, and I didn't I don't know how many times I can say this, but I will not respond to a private message. I can't do it. And the reason I don't, and don't take it personally, the reason I don't is because it creates a atmosphere of private information, and I don't want that. Again, the hunt is out there. It's in the book. If you want to discuss it amongst yourselves, that's fine. But don't write me and ask me if your solve is correct, because I won't even respond to private messages. And it's starting to get a little out of hand. I do use Facebook. I do message people that are important to me in my life. I do, my grandchildren I message and things like that. And when I sign in and I see, oh, here's like 6 more new messages from total strangers saying, hey, is this the right place? They'll show me a picture or something. Am I close? Of course I can't answer, are you close? I mean, just think of the Pandora's box that would open, and there's no treasure hunt. Forrest Fenn wouldn't do it. Michael Stather wouldn't do it. I mean, who's going to do it? No one's going to say, yeah, okay, you're close. That's personal, private information, and then you'd be privy to private information, and that's not fair to everyone else. And I've said it before, if you have something you definitely need to ask me. Ask me publicly in the forum, and that way everyone can see the question and everyone can see the answer. Right now I've been asked to do like a question and answer for a private group, and I've turned down private groups before because if it's not public, I just don't think it's fair. So I would have to depend on what type of questions there are and stuff as far as if I do a private group. If you just want to talk about the mechanics behind writing a book, or the mechanics behind anything not related to, hey, is this a solve? What's a clue? What's this? I might talk about things like that, but I'm not going to talk about like where it's hidden or how it's hidden or anything like that in a private group, because then those people in that private group have information that everyone else doesn't have. And I just simply can't do that. And I wanted this, and that's the best, to me, that's the best and most honest way to run a hunt is I'll answer questions. I haven't given out any clues other than the one I've given out. And I did that publicly on this channel. And nobody is privy to private information. And I don't want that to become a thing. So if you did IM me and I haven't answered anything, it's not personal. I mean, literally, it's not. I mean, some people, I'm dying, I would think, oh God, I would love to answer that question, but I simply can't, because then one person would have information that another person doesn't, and that's not fair. It's like, if I'm trying to think of a good analogy, like if you're running a race and someone gets to start halfway down to the finish line, that's not fair to the people starting back at the starting line. Why? Well, I just can't do it. So anyway, I just wanted to make that official one more time. And I think people are using Facebook because that's the only place they can actually see there's my name and there's a way to message me. Luckily my Gmail hasn't gotten out there yet, and like I said, I have a lot of different addresses, but they're all for various things, and they're not related to the hunt whatsoever. So if you email me, if someone figures out one of those, definitely I will ignore it, because I just, that would be almost stalkerish if you could figure out one of those other emails. So let's see. Did that cover everything I wanted to say? I did come up with, people kept saying, are you ever going to give a hint? And I thought, well, maybe down the road. And I do have milestones. If milestones are hit, there's hints I thought I might give out. But I thought, what's a hint I could give out that doesn't like reveal too much, because you can make a mistake and give out a hint and then boom, it's solved, and I don't want to do something like that. So I came up with two hints I could give that might be helpful if you're on the right track. but now I got to decide what I could do to give those out. I thought about like after the first 1,000 books are sold, um, maybe. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Post your thoughts below. What would be a good milestone to hit it, to give out? And it'd just be a simple little clue, just something that would go, oh yeah, but that doesn't help me. But hey, I did think of two that I could come out with, and a couple other ones that I planned on coming out with if this went on forever, you know. And I was asked tonight, like, what would it take for you to call? Well, not what would you take, but is it fair to call off a hunt? Like they were discussing whether Forrest Fenn would call off the hunt. Um, I don't know. You know, if things started to get personal, you know, we discussed that. We had a family Father's Day cookout tonight, and a lot of my family was there. And I said, well, can you imagine? You know, I live with my daughter and my 3 grandchildren, and can you imagine if I came up and said, yeah, I found Forrest Fenn's treasure, and you know, there's $2 million in gold. You know, yeah, I don't think it would take too much to find my address. I don't hide a lot of things, and you know, my daughter was like, God, if you did that, I wouldn't want that in my house. You know, you couldn't put that in my house. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not just that. People would know I found it. You know, even if I put it in a safety deposit box or kept it somewhere, you know, we might have people. And this came up because someone parked in front of our house, and we had no idea who it was. And so it's like, what if that was someone from a hunt, you know, spying, stalking? And it's a scary concept, and it's something you have to consider. And I know Forrest has had people like that. And you know, my hunt's relatively small, and I did it for fun, and I just put it out there. I wasn't even going to announce it, but it's out there now, and you know, it's a weird concept. So, you know, to me, the book is out there. Everything you need is in the book. There's real world locations you have to visit, and that's it. As the author, I can step back and say, there it is. It has a life of its own. It's out there. Go for it. And there should be no reason to contact me whatsoever. The only person who should contact me is whoever finds a token, and that just hasn't happened yet. So, yeah, I guess that's it. Just remember, like I said, it's nothing personal. There's been so many people IMing me that I just thought I should put this out there because I don't want this to really continue. I don't want people to think I'm ignoring people because I'm ignoring. I don't want you to think I'm ignoring some people. I'm ignoring all people. I just will not accept a private message from someone I don't know. And especially if it's like, hey, is my solve correct? Hey, am I close? Hey, is this right? Hey, is this how you solve this cipher? Why? I can't do that. That would be unfair to everybody else if I ask questions like that in private. And I would not even answer questions like that, like publicly posted to the forum. Some questions I've answered, like people that, hey, there's a typo here, is that real? Or hey, there's a spacing error here, is that's something? And something small like that, I can say, oh, you know, that's an artifact of printing. That's nothing to do with the hunt. But then even then, that's a slippery slope because then they start getting further and further. So yeah, just remember, it's not personal. It's everybody, and you know, hopefully no one's going to start tracking down my personal email addresses because then I will change them. I don't want to, but I will. And my main address, like I've had so many addresses that I've signed up for so many things, and then like the things that I've kept that have proven not to be spam generators, I've been migrating towards one address. So I'd really hate to lose that one address because it has all my stuff in it. So anyway, that's out there. Is there anything else to discuss? Like I said, I was thinking about doing one a Midwest hunt. It would be just a low stakes one. I don't want to do high stakes one. First of all, I can't, and second of all, I don't know. And I was thinking about the one, about hiding places, and I think I again come up with a really clever idea, and I actually took 2 days off work. I'll be traveling to Omaha. I'll be testing a few things. This is similar to what I did in Denver, where I hid the token and came back a couple years later, and it was still there. And I thought this is a good spot. So anyway, yeah, that's going to be an interesting couple of days off, and I really need some time off. Work has really been stressful. But speaking of work, I have 2 computers to get out, and one I got to ship across the country, and one I got to go out in the plant and figure out where it is, and hopefully it's not buried in dirt like some of the other ones are. But I just wanted to put that out there as officially as I could and as friendly as I could. Like I said, don't take it personally. It was a rule I put out. If you go scroll all the way down to the end of my Facebook page, you'll see one of the first things I said was no private messages. And I'm still sticking to that. So that was it. And, unless you're like a Victoria's Secret model, you can send me a private message. So there's that. But anyway, I got to go. And it's been fun talking to you. And I got some other videos planned. I got a fun one planned. It's just going to take some work to do it because I don't really edit my videos. So I'm going to do my first attempt at editing. And I did a bunch of, I do movie reviews on another channel, and I have fun doing that. I did a couple of those this weekend. It was funny because, like I said, my movie reviews will have 10 views, 20 views, 15 views, somewhere between 10 and 20 views. And I now have 2 that have hit like 20,000, and I don't know why. I know why one of them hit, and that's because it was featured on the homepage of YouTube, and then some other things happened, and I was like the only reviewer that reviewed this really low budget indie film, and it made it to the front page of Yahoo, and it just blew up. But I noticed like a video I did not a couple days ago, but a couple movies ago. I can't remember how long ago it was, but it was like I was posting my recent videos yesterday, and it's like, oh, that hit 22,000. Why did that hit 22,000? I'm gonna have to look into that. It must have got posted somewhere. It must have, and it was a movie another indie film. So like these indie producers, I've actually had indie producers write me and say, hey, thanks for reviewing my film because no one's paying attention to my movie. And I'm like, well, I like to watch indie films. I think they're really fun to watch. So anyway, I gotta go, and you take care, and I'm trying to be as friendly as possible, and I hope everyone likes me and no one sues me. So everyone take care.